Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Talk of Life podcast. As always, your host with the most, Dooley. And today I have another guest, Anna Pauline. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to the show.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
Your show.
Thank you for coming.
I'm
trying. I'm surviving.
You're surviving.
I'm surviving Sweden. I'm surviving the cold.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's not easy for me, but I'm trying my best.
You know what? I just came back from Zanzibar like 2.5, 3 weeks ago, so I totally understand.
Yeah. What a way to hurt me in the beginning.
Yeah.
By the way, Zanzibar is my home country, so yeah. She's making mockery out of me right now. How was it?
It was great.
What were you doing there?
It was the longest time I've ever been there, actually. I was there for 6 weeks.
6 weeks?
Yeah, a month and a half, yeah.
What were you doing? Just vacation or?
Workation, I would say.
Workation, yeah. Because it's working in a very good weather and.
Yeah, because I was writing music down there, and I was I did some gigs down there, and then I always collaborate with DCMA.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I was teaching also.
What is DCMA for the people who listen so they can understand?
The Dow Countries Music Academy, and they do a lot of work to preserve the Tarab music.
Okay.
Which is indigenous music from Zanzibar.
So do you collaborate like together? Do you make like collaboration music?
Yeah, we do, and we mix like Swedish folklore and jazz. Traditional American music with Tarab music also, but I also teach like basics of jazz and basics.
Oh, so you teach as well?
Yeah, I do.
And how was the experience there? How are the people there in general, and how do you find the music there?
Well, this was my 11th time in Zanzibar, so obviously I love it, and I love working. I love working with the students and with the people of DCMA. We have a really nice collaboration. But I wasn't actually this time. I wasn't meant to work that much. But it's a bit difficult because I have a good relationship with the DCMA. So,
all right.
But yeah, I had 3 weeks holiday. I didn't do anything. Like I did some gigs but. Yeah. Yeah.
What a stupid question I'm about to ask you. How was the weather?
Well, because it's in the middle of the summer, right? So it's very, very hot for us.
No, it's the middle of the hottest summer because I feel like every day is a summer over there.
It was even like when we came in January. It was so funny because I got a room without aircon and a very, very poor fan the first night we were there. And then we were laughing because my guitarist, he got a really nice room with aircon and everything. And then we were going out to the coast, to Paje.
Yeah, and it was
staying
the other way.
in a new place. And we thought it was going to be the other way. Like, this time is your time to have a nice room. Still not working, the aircon.
My God.
It was 38 degrees inside the room. So it was.
What about mosquitoes?
No, not many mosquitoes, actually. I didn't get bitten as much as my guitarist, but he drinks more red wine than I do.
You've been there longer than him, so maybe the mosquitoes are used to you.
Yeah, they don't like me anymore. Like, here comes that Swedish lady again. We don't want her blood.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
But it was wonderful. Yeah, the weather. I mean, it was very hot, but I love the East Coast because it's so windy.
It's very windy over there. Yeah. So even if it's hot, but if you stay at the shadow under the tree. Yeah, you've been going back and forth there for a long time now. When was the first time?
2014.
2014. And how many times have you been there?
11.
You've been there more times than I have.
Yeah.
Because 2014 is the time I came to Sweden, to be honest, end of 2014.
Really? So you've lived there for 10 years almost now?
Yeah, 8, 9, going 9.
Yeah.
So at the end of this year will be 9, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
And I've only been there maybe 8, 9 times. I'm sad about it.
Yeah. I totally understand because the more you go there, the more you want to go. I mean, I'm already thinking, when can I go back? Yeah.
Oh my God. But what made you go there first time?
Well, the first time it was actually a part of I was traveling with my then mother-in-law we're still friends. We're still very good friends.
Yeah.
And we were traveling around Tanzania for more than 3 weeks. And the last week we were in Zanzibar. And we were doing all the touristy stuff.
Okay.
You know, Jozani Forest and seeing the red colobus monkeys and snorkeling with dolphins and snorkeling by Nemba Atoll and going for a city tour of Stone Town, Princess Salme Museum, you know, Spice Farm, blah, blah.
You're telling me as if I'm not from there. Yeah. It's fine.
Now I'm telling the listeners if the listeners want to know.
Yes, true.
Then we climbed the Kilimanjaro and we went to Serengeti and Lake Manyara and, you know, we did all the touristy stuff. But you know, been there, done that. Then I got a contact with Abeid Karume, who was one of the responsible people like behind Jazz
Festival.
and Poetry Festival, So I contacted him.
He's a co-founder, right?
He's a co-founder, I think, yes.
Yeah. If my memory serves
he is. Yeah. So I contacted him. He wasn't there. I was contacting him, but then he got interested in me and my ex-boyfriend. With his mother I went traveling with, and he's a jazz pianist. So we went on a tour the next year in Tanzania doing different concerts, and then we performed in Jahazi. So then I performed every year at the Jahazi until
And that was the first time I saw you, I think. Maybe.
Yeah, I know, you told me that.
I saw you, but we never met that time.
Did you see me in 2015?
Yeah, I think so. If that's the time you wore a black dress, and it was at Old Fort before they
No, that's the year after.
2016?
Yeah.
Okay, then I saw it 2016.
Yeah. You must have been very young then.
Yeah. 2016, I already have a kid, by the way. Young, but my son
You
was
already had a kid then?
Yeah, because he was born December 15, 2015.
Wow, yeah. So he was like almost a year.
A few months.
Wow.
Yeah, I came with him. He was 6 months when we met, because Jazz Festival is what, August?
Yes,
June?
August, September.
So about 7 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I met you and your son.
Yeah, but that was later.
That was later on,
because I was trying to get him there every year that I can, but then COVID came and messed everything up.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
What do I do? Yes, that's the question I ask myself all the time. Who am I and what do I do? Well, I am a singer-songwriter, jazz singer, songwriter, musician. I write. Artist, yes, yeah, artist for sure. In general, yes.
And based on in jazz.
Yes, mainly jazz, but also, well, you know, singer-songwriter, so it could be sort of influenced by country, folklore. And, but yeah, I work a lot with jazz.
And how long have you been an artist, or how long have you been doing?
You know, I've actually worked with music almost 20 years now.
20 years. Wow. That's a long time.
That's a very long time. But I didn't finish that. Like I went quite late at the academy. I was almost 30 years when I started at the academy in 2007. So, so I haven't, like, I graduated from the academy in 2012.
Wow.
But I was already working as a musician then. My teachers were like, you know, you have to make a choice whether or not you want to finish the studies or run around playing. But I actually managed to travel around playing and, you know, get a degree anyway. It was tough, but, you know, even produced my first record during that time as well.
What got you interested in jazz music, or in music in general?
I have to say, I've always been very interested in music. Already, like, when I was 5, I was in, like, a children's choir, and then when I got older, I was in a church choir.
Did you want to go, or maybe parents tried to put you through?
And my parents, like, my mom used to be a musical artist, so she was a dancer, and she was in theater and everything, and musicals, traveling around. That's how she met my dad, because he was playing in the orchestra.
Okay, so your parents came from almost...
Yeah, I mean, my dad is a trumpet player and is a jazz trumpet player, so I guess I got the jazz from him, whether I wanted it or not. I remember I had a tape with like Christmas music, like people in Sweden know who Carola Häggkvist is. I don't know if you know.
No, I'm sorry for that.
But she's a very well-known artist. Yeah, for sure. She's been in the Eurovision. She even won the Eurovision and everything.
Which year?
I can't remember. Was it 91 she won with Fångad av en stormvind? Yeah.
All right. Even if I tried to remember, I wouldn't, because I wasn't born back then.
No, you're making me feel very old now. But
no.
Yes, I had a tape with her. This is, this is also revealing how old I am, because I had a tape. And
we had tapes.
You had tapes too?
Yeah, I mean, in my country, we're that poor that tapes are still valuable right now as we speak. So.
Yeah, so my dad what do you call it? When he recorded over all that music, he put jazz on there instead, and I was so angry. Oh. Yeah, but today I'm actually grateful, because if he hadn't done, I don't know. I mean, my sister is also very interested in jazz. She also likes jazz, but she's not into it in the same way that I am. Mm-hmm. But they tell me that even like from an early age, I was singing when I was sleeping, singing when I was waking up, or when I went to bed, singing, you know, annoyingly to everyone, and I couldn't shut up.
It pays.
Yeah.
Pays off.
I still do. I still, like, I can walk in a shop, and then I realize that somebody is laughing or smiling, and then I'm like, oh shit, I sang again, didn't I? You know.
How loud do you sing?
I don't sing that loud, but it's just, you know, I'm humming, and, I don't think about it. It just comes natural to me.
Have you ever gotten, like, someone responded like, that's an ugly way of singing? Or you've always got a good...
Luckily, no. Luckily, people are like,
you are
wow.
a good singer.
Yeah. Like, even there was I was in a stall, like a bathroom stall, and I was singing something. And then I came out to wash my hands, and there was this lady who just came out, and she stared at me. She's like, wow, your voice is amazing. Were you the one who was singing in there? And I said, well, yeah. And then I got...
In the bathroom?
In the bathroom. And then she said, you should be in
Are you singing to hide your business?
Maybe. Maybe that's a good way, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Didn't think about that.
That's my first option of thinking, would be like, this lady is singing just because she's doing something she doesn't want us to hear.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Oh my God, that's nice. So
yeah. So yeah, I guess music came to me at an early age, and also dancing. I used to, like, my mom is actually very disappointed, because she wanted me to be like a professional dancer, because she was. And
your dad won.
My dad won, yeah. But I was actually very good. I got accepted to like Ballet Academy here in Gothenburg, and I said no. I don't know why I said no, because I wanted to travel also. And then I applied later on when I was older, and I didn't get in. Like, it was very, very tough for me to get into the academy, because, you know, like, there's a difference when you're 19 and you have a talent, and then you're 26, 27 and you have a talent. No, then they expect you to, you know, what the hell have you been doing from the age of 19 to now, you know? Wow. So that was tough, actually.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, but it was actually good. It was a good lesson. It was a good life lesson, you know, because I was a bit cocky. You know, I was thinking, I can easily get in here. And my dad kept saying, well, you can't just open a music book and expect like, then I'm going to get accepted right away. It's hard work, and you really need to practice hard. And yeah, I didn't have respect for it, but I do now, you know, and I definitely, you know, it was a good lesson.
Yeah, as people say, you don't know what you got until it's gone.
No. And you get, I mean, I think I'm more humble in a way now. If I'd gotten in when I was 19, I don't know if I would have gone on. Like, I don't know. I think when you have to fight for something, you really appreciate it more.
Yeah, that's most definitely.
Yeah.
So, missing out dancing.
Yes.
You know, what else would you have done other than music?
If I had a choice, you mean? I would definitely have painted more and danced. I mean, like, put more time into dancing than I did. I would definitely do that, because I've started to paint and dance again, but it's you can definitely tell that I lost 20 years. So I mean, if I had to go back, I would, but I mean, it's difficult also, because everything takes time, right? So you have to prioritize. So in a way, I'm happy that music was my choice.
Yep.
But I'm a bit sad that I couldn't also give dancing and painting, like drawing, equal amount of time. But
yeah, but maybe sometimes we can't have it all at once.
No.
The painting can come back, I guess.
Yeah,
well.
definitely. Yeah. I have had a few exhibitions and sold a few paintings, and so
that's nice to hear.
Yeah.
When it comes to music, I know I've seen you sing.
Yeah.
But how about instruments? Do you play any instruments?
Yeah, I play the piano, and I play the ukulele, and I play balafon, the African marimba.
Nice.
Because I went to Gambia. I mean, I went to Africa. I've been to Africa a couple of times, as you know. So I went to Gambia. That was actually my first African country I went to about 12 years ago. That was 2010.
2010.
And I was there for a month.
Oh, all right.
And it was through the Malmö Academy of Music, and we were 12 people, 12 people going there. It was like a part of a course in world music, focusing on Western African traditional music. So we were following different tribes like the Fula, Mandinka, Susu, Wolof, and
Wow.
Yeah, so we learned different songs and djembe drums and balafon and different dances and the Wolof drums and like a lot of things. It was very intense, but very, very, fantastic experience. So, so that's, and then I fell in love with the balafon. So I bought the balafon and brought it with me home, but unfortunately that's one of the instruments that is standing in the corner now.
with some dust.
Yeah, with some dust on it. Because I used to play in a band where actually I didn't have to be the singer. I was singing the harmonies that the trombone used to play. So I was kind of a human trombone, and then I played the balafon, and
nice.
Which was really nice because, like as a singer, you're a front person, right? So you always have to talk to the people and be the leader of the band, or and in this band I was like the side man, which was so nice because then you just play. You don't have to talk all the time. You just
you mean you didn't have much responsibilities?
No, exactly. Which was very nice. So I play that. I mean, I used to have a djembe drum, but then it got infested with bugs, so they ate the whole of the leather of the djembe drum. It got all ruined, so I had to throw it away. So I don't play any. I was never any good at that, actually. But
How many languages do you speak?
I speak Swedish, Danish, English, French, Spanish, and Swahili kidogo.
and how many can you sing?
Actually, I sing more than I speak. I sing in Italian also. Italian, Spanish, French, Portuguese.
How does that work? Do you do like covers, or someone writes for you? Or?
Yeah, I do covers, and then sometimes I work with another a pianist who is also writing music, and he writes in French. So then I sing his lyrics.
Okay.
But actually, it's a good idea. I wouldn't mind actually writing in French, for instance. Yeah. Actually, so many people ask me, why don't you sing in Swahili?
I can write for you.
Yes, you can.
Definitely.
Did you know
I think
I'm going to do a Swahili course, actually.
Oh, where? In Zanzibar or in...
No,
Sweden?
here.
In Sweden?
Through Folkuniversitetet.
Okay. That's nice. It'll be interesting. Then we can communicate better.
Yeah. You don't think we communicate?
My English isn't that good, and I've been here for 8 years, and I skip Swedish. And
Isn't your Swedish getting better?
My son told me this. It's like, Dad, you've been in Sweden longer than I've been, and I speak Swedish more than you.
Oh, but his English is getting good though.
No, his English is great.
Yeah,
I think when it comes to my level of English and his level as his age, is way better than mine.
Yeah.
So I speak simple words, and sometimes I'm like, how can you put that word in that sentence?
How old is he now?
He's 7. He turned 7 in December.
Oh my God!
Yeah, time flies. Felt like it was 2 years ago when I was carrying him.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
Soon he will outgrow you and be stronger than you.
Oh yeah. I keep telling him. We fight, we wrestle. I'm like, I can beat you now. I'd rather beat you now than come and compete. Because when you're 16, 17, I'll be like, okay, I'm old. You cannot fight with me. You cannot wrestle with your dad. Go find your own kids.
You won't be old when he's 16.
No, I know, but I'll use that card.
Yeah.
No worries.
Okay, you use
No
that
worries.
card. Yeah.
I listened to, I guess this was your last single, Besame Mucho.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Okay, it was like, again, I've seen you live. I've seen you sing, but when I listen to this for once, I'm like, okay, who is this artist again?
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It's Spanish, right?
Thank you. Yeah, it's Spanish.
Spanish. It was really, really, really beautiful. When did it come out?
Thank you. I can't remember. It was in February. I think it
this
was.
Year.
Yeah, it was just before Valentine's Day.
All right.
Yeah, because we thought, it's a very romantic, and Velasquez she was a female concert pianist, so she wrote it for her.
Oh, so
her own
is this a
16th
cover
birthday.
or?
It's a cover, yeah. It's a cover, yeah. But I've always loved it. It's actually it was a Mexican concert pianist. She wrote it for her 16th birthday. So I mean, how can you write that when you're 16? And nobody actually knows it was a female. I mean, I'm not saying nobody, but a lot of people don't know that it was a woman who wrote the song. Oh. So even more reason for me also to sort of
inspired and wanted to.
Yeah, I really like it. It's very, I don't know. It's very sort of, I get very moved when I sing it.
How often do you do covers, and how often do you do your own? Like, do you write your own, and how much are you involved in the process of, making the song or the album? Like, instrumental wise, do you like put your own instrument, or you have other people helping you?
Both. I mean, I don't play my own music as much as I should. A lot of people, like both my colleagues, like musicians, and friends, they're like, why you write such beautiful lyrics and music, why don't you play it more often? I don't know. I guess it's easier to hide yourself behind a cover, and if people don't like it, then it's like, well, it's not my song. I guess it's you're a bit more naked or a bit more fragile when it's your own music, I think. But
are you saying you don't feel much confident in yourself? Like,
yeah, I think it definitely is a confidence thing. It's an issue. I don't know. I'm very self-aware and very self-critical. Always. I'm never hardly ever content. Just ask the people I work with. I always want to be better. I mean, I guess it's a good thing that you want to strive to be better, but sometimes I'm very annoying. Even to myself, I'm like, I tire myself because I'm never content. Yeah. But I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at appreciating myself and saying that, well, as long as I've put my best effort, and But I do write my own music, and it's there on Spotify too. My own music.
Yeah, I listen. Not all of it. I think your last album, Give Me Time.
Yeah, but that's not my music either.
It's not yours?
No. It's...
but I couldn't find is there an album in there of yours?
Yeah, Meant to Be.
Oh, sorry.
No
Maybe
worries.
I didn't.
You will listen to that till next time.
I will listen. Yeah. I will listen. Actually, I planned to listen today, but whatever. Some excuses.
Yeah, you had the whole train ride from Stockholm to listen. No,
yeah.
But actually, that Meant to Be was my first album, and it's all my own songs, and I always write the songs myself, like both the harmony, the lyrics, the melody, and everything.
Oh, so you are pretty involved when it comes to...
Definitely, yeah. And the best, I mean, that you were talking about, it's part of a duo album that I'm doing with a guitarist called Richard Hauer, who lives here in Gothenburg. So, yeah. And we sit together when we mix.
Is he like a producer, sort of?
He's a co-producer. So we produced the album together. So, but he's much more technically advanced when it comes to knowing which
how best sound
where to cut and but we always have a dialogue, we always communicate, and I always sit with him in the room and tell him how I want it, and so it's definitely we're a team, so I'm always involved, and when I do my own songs, sometimes I co-write with somebody else. Like when I was on Zanzibar, I was working with my Danish guitarist Thomas Mainz and actually Abed Karume.
Abed.
Yeah.
Abed is a guy we know in common.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a bit. You've known him since 2011.
No, since 2014.
14. Okay, I've known him longer, but I think you've been way closer to him because not only age different, but also
working together.
Yeah, it's not my cup of tea. Like we don't have things in common, especially at that time. I was still young, trying to figure out what I'm doing, and he's a grown man with life and already ambitions and plans and stuff like that. But actually, Abed helped me and his cousin because we used to dance, and he had this wonderful restaurant. And him and his other cousin Ibrahim, they told us, like, listen, you can do shows here, you can advertise yourself, so you can practice performance. Yeah. And without him, I would say that I wouldn't have been such, I wouldn't be very comfortable in front of audience. You know, now I do stand up, and I think without my when I was young, my background was reciting Quran competition. So I was doing competition. So that was it. But then I stopped for a decade. Yeah. So after, starting again, that dancing brought me back, being on the stage and getting comfortable. Yeah. And it's two different things, Quran is different thing and compared to, of course. So it's kind of different audience. But now doing stand-up, if I didn't have that background, it's stand-up is different. So, but it helped me out. So thanks to that.
But you're an amazing dancer. I mean, you're an amazing acrobat too. I mean, yeah.
Thank you.
It's crazy what you can do.
I don't feel the same right now, but yeah.
Oh yeah, you are. I mean, yeah. I would be lucky if I could stand on my head.
I mean, I'm trying not to lose that. It's very hard. You know how Zanzibar is, every day we go to the beach training, and we don't say training, we go there to have fun. Yeah. So for me, training is having fun, and it's not like a thing I have to do. No. It's the thing that makes me happy. Yeah. And coming to Sweden is not the same. It's not the same people. No. I don't like indoor gyms. I like outdoors, and then 8 months of the year you don't get to do outdoors. So that made me, I feel like, less active when it comes to physical, and I'm battling with that. I'm trying actually my best to try to do something, but also, again, it's not the same for me here than being back.
It's funny that you should say that, because it's the opposite for me. It was harder for me to be active on Zanzibar because it's so hot, right? So even I went out in the morning thinking I'm going to go for a long walk along the beach.
Nope.
And already at 8, it's already like 38 degrees, and and it's the sun is so strong, so it's you can't. So I had to do like my practice in the room where there at least was a fan and some aircon working every now and again. But I did go to gym there. In Page. Do you know the gym in Page?
Yeah, I think Jamie.
On top of the liquor store.
I think Jamie Rahim owns that gym.
Okay.
He used to live in Sweden. He used to be a bodybuilder in Sweden,
Because there's no air condition in that room.
I mean, everything is open, so it's...
Well, there's no wind either.
There's no windows?
No. Well, the windows are open, but there's no breeze coming through.
Because there's no system nowadays, the new house, there's no ventilation system in Zanzibar. You know, the older buildings, you could see the older buildings before we put the nowadays roof. You could live in there. Like my home, we didn't have fans.
No.
But it wasn't warm. No, if you go out, it was much warmer than being inside. Because the architect was really beautiful. Yeah. But now people are just building very fast and cheaper and stuff like that. So
kind of the same thing here, right? But we did like my guitarist and I, we made the mistake of going to the gym at 4:30 in the afternoon because he was like, I really want to train. I said, but this is too early because it's way too hot between 4 and 6. I mean, it's better to train after 6 o'clock. And but we went there and we didn't have anything to eat.
Oh.
He didn't bring any water, so we had to share my bottle. And there was no air condition. It was so hot. I mean, seriously.
I'm sorry you're complaining about
sunny
and nice beach and beautiful sand.
I know.
And swimming. While I'm here, it's -10 and my lips are cracking. I'm bleeding all over.
I know, but there were actually days where I wished to be sitting with a sweater on, drinking tea in my sofa.
Go in June. June. If you go in June,
really?
June, especially the East Coast, because it's very windy.
Oh yeah.
So in June, actually, I remember I went there with some Swedish people, and they're like, "It's very hot." I'm like, "Yeah, you need a sweater in the evening."
Oh wow.
Because it gets up to 24, 22 degrees, but with the wind, it feels people still. Like, you'd be surprised, the villagers would be around the fire and, with the village and talking and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Interesting. But, I mean, I love Zanzibar in any case, but, I mean, I'm a Scandinavian Viking. You grew up with that heat. But I grew
your
up
blood
with
is snow.
Yeah. My blood is blue.
Yeah. I have a co-worker. I'm going to bring his name, Anders Nude.
Yeah.
This guy. -10, -20, or it's 20 degrees. He has shorts.
Really?
He has shorts.
Wow.
And with his bike and just, walk. And if it's 24 degrees, he's complaining too much. It's too hot. I can't be here. He wants to go and live. I forgot which
Siberia maybe.
I forgot which continent. I forgot which country he wants to go, but it's very, very cold over there. Like, I want to go live there. He already bought the land and stuff like that because
really? In Russia, maybe?
No, not Russia. Somewhere over America, but I forgot. Nah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry for that, Anders.
Alaska, maybe?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He can't stop talking. It will be 1 week, and if he's going there, he comes to work with all the map. Because he doesn't like Google Map or anything, so he has his own map and everything. He's like, I want to be on this mountain, I want to go here, I want to go here. And he goes there like almost every year. I'm jealous of him, but I mean, that's how much he loves cold. I can't.
Okay, I'm not that extreme.
As a jazz musician, what are the challenges? Do you feel as the genre, does it get respect as much? Because I see how the music is. Jazz is not popular anymore.
It's not that popular. I mean, we do have. It's a good question because there's always a debate going on. But I mean, our audience, at least in Sweden, they're getting older and older, right? So they want to sort of try and bring in the new, like the younger generation, and it's always a tough debate. But there has been some, renewal of jazz through, I don't know if you know the Postmodern Jukebox, the band.
Yeah,
I mean, they make jazz numbers out of very well-known rock or pop numbers, and it's all retro and the clothes and everything. And I think thanks to a lot of these younger groups who are sort of modernizing jazz in a way, like bringing pop songs in and making them into something else. I think that kind of helps, at least. And also I think it's a bit sad that in Sweden it's so age divided. If you go to a club, it's like, oh, here's 20 years only, or here's 30 years, or here's 40. You don't see that even in Denmark. Like, there's a much bigger mix of ages. Yeah, much bigger diversity in age, and also like people where you're coming from, than in Sweden. And it makes me kind of sad, because it doesn't have to be that way. Like even Danish radio would play jazz and mix it up with pop and everything, whereas in Sweden there's that you have to go to the certain jazz channel. And even in Denmark you have much more jazz clubs and more festivals than in Sweden. So I think if we sort of integrated it more in Sweden, we wouldn't see a decline in the audience. But but I think, I don't know, it's kind of started to come up a little bit again, but I know, my friends of my age, I have to sort of beg them to come, can you at least come for my sake? There's not a lot of people in their 40s who are like, wow, we're going to, no, that it's like 65 years and up, 70 years old, because they grew up with this music, they danced to that music live, right? So for them, it's got a whole other meaning.
Yeah, but what do you think that brings that separation in age? I mean, in the age differences and in music, by the way, like, because as you say, like, there's no club that I remember here like constantly, oh, this is a jazz club, it's always hip hop or dance.
Well, Nefertiti used to be like a jazz.
They don't have it no more.
No, they don't have. Well, they do have jazz, but they sort of mix it out more. But then you've got people like Fredrik Riksman who opened Unity Jazz Club in Gothenburg.
Yeah,
he really worked it out, but that's because he's very interested into gastronomic, like food. Nice food and wine, like fine dining, along with the jazz. So it's like he's building it, not only the music, it's like an experience.
As a culture?
Yeah, as a culture. So, which is very smart, I think. And then you got Utopia Jazz Club, which is quite new. I think they opened last year.
That's the one you invited me the other day.
Yeah. That's the one they actually asked me if I wanted to play on Friday, but I'm coming to see you before.
Thank you. To all the listeners, probably this episode will come after the show, but I would have said this in the future. I had a show about 2 days ago, my stand-up show. It's called Finally Here. The recording, the video will come. I'll update you when, so you can get to purchase it. You can buy it and can see for yourself. Yeah. Anyway.
So it's, I would say that jazz, it's a bit of a struggle because it's a smaller genre and more narrow in a way, in a sense, and the audience is, we don't fill the arenas. I'm not Rihanna or Beyonce kind of. So but the thing is, I also actually like it because it's intimate and you really get close to your audience at the same time. So I have been performing sometimes in big, huge venues like Sala Kongressova in Warsaw for like 9,000-10,000 people. So then that was amazing, but I kind of like the intimate concerts also because it feels, it's more about life. You get closer to the audience and it's more personal. But it's a good question. It's difficult. I sometimes wonder, why I keep on doing what I'm doing. But I'm doing it because I love it and I believe in it.
But because to me, it's I can't get the answer to it. It's like jazz used to be big.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know which era, but was it the 70s?
Well,
60s.
Yeah, definitely 50s, like 40s, 50s, 60s. They even ended broadcast because of a jazz concert, even in Sweden, television. They would and now we'll break off the break off the show because there's a jazz concert and blah blah, which would never happen today. I mean, you wouldn't end an airing, like a radio airing, because of a jazz. So
I would tell you from my experience, to be honest. I grew up not knowing what jazz is.
Yeah.
I heard music, I heard this, I heard that.
Yeah.
And some music, takes samples from jazz, but I didn't know because it sounded a little bit different. And the first time I heard jazz, I didn't like it, especially it was only instrument and nobody was singing, the instruments and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? It's not boom, 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 boom. It's not Pitbull. It's not Eminem. It's not Kanye. I started first. I grew up with Indian music, Bollywood music, and Arabic, and then Swahili and my country. And then 2009-10, I started with American music and stuff, English music. Until there was a festival, Sounds of Wisdom, South Abu Sahara in Zanzibar, and they were playing Afro jazz. And when I was at the concert and I see someone working with, how they play the instrument and how sweaty, but how focused he is, and it's like they're telling you a story without words with an instrument, and you start feeling. I'm like, what kind of music is this? Like, no, Afro jazz. I'm like, there's Afro jazz, and there's this, there's that, and that's when I started, going and listen. And then when I started listening to hip hop, I don't think I would have liked jazz more if it wasn't for hip hop. I started listening, for example, this guy who's now under fire, Kanye West. He has a lot of samples from jazz, great jazz musicians, great artists, Nina Simone, or, when you go back, other artists.
Yeah.
And I would go and start listening to the original songs. Yeah. And now it at one point it became a habit where, okay, if anyone releases a hip-hop, there's a sample to it, I want to listen to the original song. So I'm not even as interested as the hip-hop. I want to see how the old ones, and that's when I started appreciating, old artists, older musicians, and stuff like that.
But it's the same. I mean, I don't teach as much now because I mainly do a lot of concert and gigs, right? But I used to have like younger students, young, like children and everything. And all of a sudden, one student came to me and she said, "I wanna do Fly Me to the Moon by Frank Sinatra." And I said, "Okay." Why is that? How do you know this song, and how do you know Frank Sinatra? Because some like TikTok person was singing it, and all of a sudden, like Fly Me to the Moon, every youngster that I was teaching wanted to sing Fly Me to the Moon. So I thought that's a good idea, and then somebody said, I want to do Amy Winehouse, There Is No Greater Love.
God, she was
and she used to sing quite a lot of jazz.
No. Yeah, that's all I would put her in as a category. Like, she was one of the greatest when it comes to me, like one of my, I wouldn't say my favorite, but I enjoy listening to her music and,
Yeah, so I mean, I guess I'm very grateful to artists when they pick up, like, music from the old. And I mean, even within jazz, there are segregations, right? I mean, like, you've got the modern jazz musicians who, but solely believe in that, and all respect to that also. And then you've got like jazz musicians who play anything, I mean, jazz is so broad. That's why some people are like, "Oh, I don't like jazz," and I said, "But you just listened to a jazz tune." "Oh, did I? Is that jazz?"
Exactly.
Because they don't realize that jazz can be so many things.
Isn't it like jazz a birth of different kind of music as well? Like,
of course. I mean, it all started with the blues and with the like the slaves singing like traditional songs, and then it developed from there, right? I mean, and then the hottest place for jazz about 100 years ago was New York. Everybody was sitting in Broadway writing for musical shows. So the Great American Songbook, a lot of the songs there who are now called jazz standards, they were a part of a musical show, like a review or a musical or a, So, I mean, so the history dates back like about 100 years ago. But it is African music. I mean, jazz is, and the blues and, So, I guess sometimes when we play jazz, even for people who usually say, I don't like jazz, they often come up and say, wow.
That was good.
Yeah, that was actually very good.
So people have perception without even listening to it because we hear, oh, it's jazz, it's this, it's this.
You already get like you think you have an idea of what jazz is, or like people can be quite prejudiced about it. And I think also people they don't want to hear music that is difficult to understand. They just, I mean, I'm generalizing, of course, but a lot of people just want something that they can sing along to or clap along to, or,
Etta James.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
you can actually listen and sing along. Listen, when I cook and I want to cook very nice food, I put her, the food becomes amazing. You know what I mean? If I put other music, I just, because her voice, it's a little bit deeper, but, it makes me calm. And when I cook the food and go along, it feels like everything I do in slow motion and very careful and stuff like it's a nice mood, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, and I think most people, I mean, you can put Frank Sinatra on, and most people would like it, because I mean, and that's also like mainstream jazz, of course. But and then you got West Coast jazz, which is also a different sound, and then you got like the jazz that has folklore roots in it. I mean, Swedish jazz is very much sort of tapping into the Swedish folklore, or world music. I mean, today you mix everything, right? There's such a huge mixture of music from all parts of the world. I mean, that's also a debate. What is jazz today? Sometimes they just call it like improvisational music. I mean, I mean, I definitely have my preference in jazz, what I prefer to listen to. I'm not very much into modern jazz, to be honest, but I have a respect for it, and I listen to it because I think you should listen to everything. I mean, I listen to whatever you send me, rappers or.
And you're like, what am I listening to? This is garbage. But you say the key word, respect.
Yeah.
Because I believe I've heard this when I was growing up. I listened to a song, and grown-ups who have their type of music they're listening to, the new ones that are coming, they don't have respect for it. They said, this is not this. Yeah. So they don't respect. Yeah. And I feel like that has destroyed the bridge between the young and the older, because the older people listen to that. Yeah. So actually, when you say jazz, you associate jazz with older people. Yeah. Because as a younger generation, you find your own sound, and someone tell you that's a trash, and you don't respect that. And now we started gaining popularity, and you are angry at us. Why did we get? People forget, like, you are older, your audience is getting older, and you have disconnect yourself with the younger generation, because music is expressing yourself. Yeah. And as you can see, it has been evolving throughout the time.
But I think it's very important not to forget the old. I mean,
no, exactly.
Should be evolving, right? But you should respect the old as well as the new.
Exactly. But if that's what I'm saying, like, if the district, I'm not blaming the older generation, but I'm saying if that disconnect comes, and as the young, they need to be nurtured and taught of their old music. But if they don't get that knowledge, and we cannot blame the younger generation.
There's a huge gap between.
Exactly. And our generation is very lucky. We have Google, we have YouTube.
Yeah.
We can go back. Yeah. Nowadays, if you have, let's say, internet, you can listen to different kind of music. Yeah. Back then, when I was growing up, there was no internet. That means if you want music, you have to go and buy this. You can only afford this 1-2 disc or cassette or whatever, and you have to listen that over and over. The research will take you much time. Nowadays, 1 hour you can do so much research and know which year, which this and this.
Obviously it's different now because everything is available online, right? But it's almost like spam. I mean, there's so much information that a lot of young people are actually also very stressed and not feeling well.
No, it's you have the information and it doesn't become interesting because you don't know where to focus.
No, exactly. Yeah.
And this is my next question: do you feel like also it's harder for a younger generation to get into jazz, or like? because now you can actually make a whole beat. If you want to make a song, you can make a whole song throughout a computer.
I have to say, I've been talking about other teachers that are jazz musicians or jazz vocalists, that it's much less. I mean, like the applicants of the jazz, it's not the same as it was. You know, like the level of knowledge when they apply. For the same school where I'm teaching, it's different. It's not the same level anymore.
It has gone down, you mean?
It's gone down, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But every now and again you find those gems, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I remember one year I was sitting in the jury, like they were auditioning for this very well-known school called Skurups Folkhögskola, where, I mean, they're very well-known. Even like people from Denmark who would come and audition for this school. Yeah. It's a very good jazz school. And one year it was a crisis because the generation who were applying weren't good enough. But now it's gone up again. So it also depends on which generation, I suppose. Yeah. So I would feel. I mean, I feel positive about it. That jazz definitely has a future, but you have to kind of rethink.
It also, for me, depends on the musicians that you listen to.
Yes.
So if the popular musicians give flowers to the older musicians, because now most I believe most of the music we make now, they sample one or two, but we don't know they sample. I remember listening to Ray Charles, and I'm like, oh, that's Kanye West's song. I'm like, no, this guy has done it like long time. So I think also as musicians, when they make the music, there should be more information to appreciate the
and like you said, it's also up to the teacher, right? How do you teach the young? And I mean, if you skip like half of the historic wise, if you skip like parts of the jazz history and you just teach from the 60s and until modern time, obviously the young won't have any respect for the old jazz. And even like I have discussions with my colleagues. I was even discussing with my guitarist Thomas Mainz, who I was traveling to Zanzibar with, and he was like, well, there's not a lot of old jazz that's good. And I said, I totally don't agree, because then, I mean, if you listen to Louis Armstrong and King Oliver and Billie Holiday.
I was listening to, sorry, Louis Armstrong, like, I listened to of his album, because I only knew one song of his when it's from the movie. Yeah. And then I watched the movie again with my son. I'm like, let me go back and listen to him. And oh my God, his voice is amazing. And
also, I mean, but I guess I understand why, because a lot of people who play old jazz are old and don't play it very well. So it's got a bad reputation. But like my dad is a traditional jazz trumpet player, and he's very good. And you know, and I know that I'm not even partial just because he's my dad, but he is a very good trumpet player. And when people hear him, they can be prejudiced first, like, oh, he plays traditional jazz music. But then when they hear him, like, wow, he's really good. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you only hear bad bands playing bad rap music or whatever, then you'll obviously say, oh, rap music is really bad. It all depends on who is performing it and how you're performing it, right?
Yeah, and sometime as an artist, you might have a project that doesn't resonate with people.
Yeah.
And it happens. Some people do release like an album, and for the first 2-3 years it's not good, and then 10 years later, oh my God, this is actually great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I understand, but I don't think that has to eliminate as how good jazz and how important jazz is to the music culture, especially the Western part of it.
But it's a shame though, because like I said, I have to sometimes twist the arms of my friends to come for a concert, which I think is it's a shame. You know, they're not interested. I mean, they'd love to go to a Jill Johnson concert. I mean, I wouldn't mind going to hear her either. She's good. I mean, I'm not saying that, but it's just that. if you like, everybody's asking me, oh, why aren't you in Eurovision, in Mello? I was like, well, because my life doesn't revolve around Melodifestivalen. I'm sorry, I it's nice and all respect to that too, but I think in Sweden we're too, I don't know, we're kind of steered into thinking that if you're a good singer, then you have to be in Talang, or you have to be in X Factor, or you have to be in Melodifestivalen.
You have to be famous, you have to make a lot of money, you have to...
We're so steered into thinking that that's the only way to go, and I do sometimes get questions like, oh, how can you play jazz and you can't earn much money? Is that really your main job? What do you do besides that? You know, because they don't realize this is my job. I work every day, and then when they see I'm traveling, they're like, oh, but you just had your holiday. Well, if I was in Haparanda in northern Sweden, I was doing the same thing that I'm doing in Zanzibar, then you would call it work. But just because I happen to be on Zanzibar and I'm doing a gig or I'm teaching, it's not a gig, it's holiday. Because it's a nice place
it's
where I'm
jealousy.
working. Yeah.
It's jealousy.
But it's,
don't worry about that.
No. But yeah, I mean, I get so many times I get the question, what do you do besides?
Does that frustrate you a lot?
It frustrates me because in Denmark they wouldn't ask you that in general, but in Sweden they do. It's as if, well, I'm generalizing, of course, but a lot of people in Sweden that I meet, they always ask if that's my main... They find it very hard that, oh, can you work 100% with music?
With jazz music to be...
Or they would, or they would say, oh, it's so nice that you can do your hobby. I'm like, well, if you were a carpenter, I mean, I could call that a hobby too, but if you're a good carpenter and you make money and you have your own business, would you still call that a hobby? I mean... Even
engineering, people might... be that as a hobby and makes a lot of money. It's not a bad thing. I think one of the answers should be is like, okay, you want me to make more money, come to the concert and actually listen to the music.
Because support me and stream my music.
Exactly. The only way you can as a genre can make more money is listeners, to be honest. Is listeners, is followers, can you feel in a big room? Can you feel in an arena? The more you can do that, the more you can earn. Yeah,
and that's also it's a good thing that you're bringing up to the discussion, actually, because I was talking to an agent, a Danish agent, and it's always a discussion for me, like how much should I charge for the services that I'm giving, right? My artistry, how much is it worth, and how much does the agent think it's worth, and then they're talking about the people who book us, who book the bands, or me as an artist, and then they're like, well, we're looking at the tickets, how many tickets we're selling. That's also a huge discussion, like what I should get my wages still. I mean, that's a difficult discussion sometimes, because I have to sort of convince the agent, like, well, you know, I can't guarantee that I will fill a concert hall, but I might, you know, but I still want my salary, right? Because I'm doing a job, I'm performing, I'm selling the service to you, right? So that's difficult sometimes when it comes to music, because you really need to explain it sometimes to people, that they don't really see it. Like he was even saying, oh, well, you know, jazz is not a profitable genre of music. And I said, well, then you have the wrong attitude.
Because you already go in like knowing this. That means you're not putting your 100% effort. I could tell you this. I'm doing stand-up now, which shocked a lot of people that I started doing stand-up.
It didn't shock me, actually.
Yeah, because I was already doing some impressions.
Yes, you were. I was telling you that you should be a comedian.
I remember that. And there was one part where I said I wanted to do this. So there was something I wanted. I wanted to perform. I wanted to do this. And people said, no, it's too early for you. You have to do 1 year, 2 years to be able to do that. And, you know, I hear those kind of things, and I can understand what sometimes the frustration you get, the feelings, like, what do you mean is unprofitable? Like, you can't make profit or whatever. But I think with how the world is now, the Western and the technology, there could be different ways maybe people can help you, like, how do you say, with the technology, you know, the social media and stuff like that. Maybe we can find a better, maybe you can collaborate. Maybe you don't have to collaborate with a musician, you can collaborate with someone else, you know, who's not a musician, but you can do something and you can try to advertise yourself and stuff like that. You can start having like your own channel in a way, and then when you get followers, at least you have your followers, and that followers will always bring, you know, other followers into it. You always bring someone, Meanwhile, there's an agency that's helping you in a different way. So maybe I would like to off the podcast we can talk about maybe what can you do, like also I can, as an artist that you've been doing for a long time, I'm just 8 months in being as an artist with stand-up. I would like to hear from your side, but this maybe will be more personal.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I have this topic that people have forgot to talk about.
Okay.
COVID.
Ooh, do you really want to go in there?
Yeah. How? Because I know it had it affected a lot of people, and only a few people made money out of it.
Yeah, it was tough. You mean artist-wise?
Not only... artist-wise, and also like...
I lost 80,000 krona in 2020 in income. In one email.
Wow.
I got one email saying like the whole of this tour is cancelled. Yeah. So it was really, really tough, and it was tough for a lot of my colleagues. You know, a lot of really brilliant musicians, they started panicking and they started studying other things, and even one singer that I know, she studied to be a train, like a locomotive engineer. Wow. And another, he started doing teaching instead, like a childhood, like kindergarten thing. And some people were so desperate that they felt so bad mentally. But I was very lucky. I'm a kind of person who's got a very vivid imagination. So I started doing other things. I started painting a lot, like I was talking about, and I was doing like some shows, exhibitions. I was selling my paintings online, like, you know, and also I was selling a lot of CDs at the time, because I put it out online saying, if you want to support me as a musician, as an artist during COVID times, I can send you my CDs. And people were fantastic. They said, send me some, you know. And then we used to I started doing like outdoor concerts. We were doing like collaborations with chefs, doing different themes, like a French evening or an Italian evening, Italian cook, French cook, you know, and we would do music. I remember that. Yeah, we would do music that matched it, and we worked with a place called Viken Tomater. They are very famous for their tomatoes, and we were playing in their huge house, what do you call it, like a drivhus, what do you call it, where they grow the tomatoes. We were playing in there, you know, like in the...
Nice, like a big garden.
Yeah, like a big garden house. We were playing in there, and then we divided the concerts, so we had two audiences, so we were playing two concerts. And I mean, we really had to reinvent ourselves I really had to reinvent myself in order to survive.
You had to get creative. You have to find other ways. Yeah. Just like water, when there's a place, it goes there. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't get your CD because I'm still using cassettes. You know, you were not selling cassettes. You're like, that's old.
No, but maybe vinyl is coming. Yeah. No, so that was, so COVID was tough because, I mean, it was 2 years, right?
Yeah. So, and 1 year was worse. I think end of 2020 to 2021, it was hard.
And I remember, because I was actually in Zanzibar 2020 in March of 2020.
And I was there. We met there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah, I was there. I left in February, but you were there You came in December 1st.
I came in January 1st.
January, and then
met,
you left.
Yeah.
Yes, so we met in January.
Yeah, but in March you weren't there, right?
No, I left before COVID.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Started,
I had to cut my trip short because of COVID.
I remember.
Because they were cancelling all the flights and everything. So
you had to go back quick. When I left Zanzibar, it was like, there's this virus in China.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks later, it's like, there's this virus in the world. I'm like, okay. Thank God I'm with my son and we are home. And
I remember I was visiting a friend of mine, very, very good drummer actually, who's actually performed in Jazz It before in 2016, I think. But I was visiting him in Brussels, and I remember I went to the Magritte Museum, and it was me and like 3-4 other people. Wow. It was empty, like it was a ghost town, Brussels. It was actually quite nice, but
not a good business for them.
No, not a good business. But yeah, it was really amazing to land. And when I got there, it was like, where is everybody? You know, it's mind-baffling, mind-blowing, isn't it? To think about it, you know, you're standing at the other end now, or looking back. It's too tough. Well, actually, I've had 3 tough years now, so.
But how was the support, though? Like,
with
the government. I remember talking to you a little bit. It was a little bit harder to get some support.
Yeah, and it was very stressful. I mean, but we did get support from Kulturrådet, the Council of Culture, I think you would call it in English, and Konstnärsnämnden. We got some support there. And so I mean, but it took a while for them to realize that the culture in Sweden was bleeding, right? And a lot of known artists like Lisa Nilsson and Petter, or a lot of known, they even went to Riksdagen and presented the problem, like. Swedish culture is bleeding, you know. There were cinemas who were closed and concert halls who were empty, symphony orchestras, you know. It was like, and in the beginning, nobody did anything about it.
Nobody knew what
to do. Yeah. But I have to say, I'm happy that I'm living in a country with such a great support system. I mean, because we did get help, right? So, I mean, you know as well as I do that no musicians in Zanzibar got any support, right?
Oh, no. They don't get support even if the country is gone. I'm sorry to say.
No, yeah.
I've had this. We tried to do, to create a group, capoeira group and everything. We wanted support, It was hard. I'm not saying as the government, I'm saying some people who are in power, they don't see the vision for the kids and stuff like that. The sports there is only football. Like football, that's all they knew. Like, we started the capoeira, we started the acrobatics and breakdance. There were some few groups, but actually my group, me, Muhit, MJ, Michael Jackson, or his name is Farid, but we call him Michael Jackson. We made sure we went different places because we knew these people who are hotel owners. So we started performing and we started getting big, and we influenced. Like there's a guy called Jamal. He has a Instagram account called Yes Jamal, and he's a diver. He just jumped into the water. Like he's one of my students. It was like that, and now the culture of performance when it comes to different kind of sports, it's growing. And
it's growing, Well, I know. Do you know Laura? There's a Danish girl called Laura Bjørn Dahl. She started the run when they do every year. They do this run for women that women can train and run as well.
I think I remember. I don't remember the name, I'm very bad with names. Sorry, but
sorry, Laura, if I'm saying the wrong. I can't. I don't know exactly what the run is called, but but that's made a difference too.
I've seen Edward Busungu does it. This guy I used to work with.
Yeah,
he did that a couple of times.
Yeah, but I mean. Yes, was that the only question about COVID?
No, like what else? Like what else? What is, for example, some people, they've benefited way more. They've had much more time with families. They've got to do other things that they'll be like, okay, I'm grateful COVID happened because I was so stressful.
I was going to say, I mean, of course it was tough financially for me, but at the same time, I was kind of happy when it hit. That it hit. I mean, I'm not happy that people got sick, obviously, and passed away. But in a way, it was a blessing in disguise for me, because I was working too much again, which is easily done when you're a freelance musician, and you need to do a lot of work being a freelance musician all the time. So I was very stressed, and I was about to get burned out again when COVID hit. So for me, COVID actually helped with my sleeping patterns and with my routines, and I owe that a lot to COVID, actually, that I'm better at my sleeping routine and what I'm doing, and much more organized. And you realize how important it is to have time with your family. Like you said, we had more time in our family. I've always had I'm very tight with my parents and my sister and my niece and nephew and everything. But we got even tighter, and my friends also, like my close friends, got even closer. And I got to do a lot of things that I wouldn't have time to do. Like I said, paint and draw.
Small things that you never knew how to appreciate.
Hiking. I did so much hiking I did so many things that I never have time to do. And you realize that time is very important, isn't it? I mean, it's very valuable.
Small things can be. I never knew. I've never traveled Sweden.
No.
I've only been in big city like Stockholm, Göteborg, Malmö.
Yeah. You traveled a bit, didn't you? Yeah.
Yes, and that's when I realized, damn, Sweden is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even go far north. I just went, halfway to the two big lakes. I traveled through the islands there, and I'm like, wow, this is very beautiful. That's when there was no option to travel anywhere else, and you find a way. And I realized it was
I think
beautiful.
A lot of people did that. I was like where I live in Höganäs, Kullabygden, which is a beautiful place, I think, but we had so many tourists, Swedish tourists.
I came there as a tourist.
Yeah, you did. Unfortunately, we never got to do any kayaking because it was raining.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, but I did show you the mountains.
Yeah,
in rain and storm.
Yes,
but
I remember. And we went to it was like a castle.
Oh yeah, did we go to a castle? Maybe we did. Sofiero or no?
I forgot the name. I'm bad with names.
Oh yes, we went to Kapperup. Yeah. That's very beautiful. I love that place.
Yeah, because it was a little bit up high.
Yeah. That was Kapperup. Yeah, we did. Yeah, you remember that? Yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean, there was a lot of people coming to my neck of the woods because of COVID also, and some people were annoyed by it. But I thought it was quite fun, because I'm proud of where I'm from, where I grew up. I think it's beautiful. So yeah.
We're soon running out of time.
Yeah.
But what's
next? And
you
know me, I can go on and on and on.
We can talk. What's next?
Well, I'm glad that you brought Bésame Mucho up in your show, because I mean we've had four singles released so far from our album, our upcoming, and I was actually just working with Richard yesterday.
Yeah, I saw it on your Instagram. I think.
Oh yeah. So we're soon finished, finally, from with our duo album, and that was what I was going to say. During COVID, we recorded the record during COVID. We've been talking about wanting to do a record and do a collaboration, the two of us, for 10 years. And we never had time, especially not Richard, because he's very, very busy and is a very popular guitarist. Everybody's pulling him from, all corners of the world. So it's the COVID sessions, we call it, actually. So we're releasing that record soon. And then I'm really happy to say...
Do we know the dates?
Not yet. I think it will be sometime in July, August.
Right.
Maybe sooner, but I don't think so. Like July, I hope 1st of July.
All right.
Yeah. And then I'm very happy to say that we got signed. The band that I have that's called Sisters of Jazz. We're 6 female musicians. We're portraying the hidden, forgotten ladies of jazz. And we just got signed by a huge label, by a label called Storyville.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
So maybe one day I can get all 6 of y'all in here.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, yeah. So we're going on a tour, and we're releasing officially on the 5th of October with a big concert in Malmö, and we're touring like.
When is
Sweden
the tour starting?
The tour starts on the 5th of October. Yeah.
All right.
So we're going to go all around Sweden. We're going to go to Denmark, and so it's really funny. I mean, not funny, but I'm really excited to do it. It's going to be fun because I've worked so hard with this project also for 7 years. So it's finally paying off. So, yeah. So that's what's next. 2 records releasing.
Yeah, I'm happy for you. I remember we talked about 1.5 years ago, and there was no direction, like, and all frustrated. I remember that. And things will come, but I'm happy to hear that now it's going very well for you.
It's so nice because once I finish this, my plan is actually to also come up with a new album with my own music. All original music. So
And that's great to hear.
Yeah.
One question before you go: your dream collaboration, dead or alive?
Dead. I would love to work with Ella Fitzgerald.
Okay, I will have to Google.
I mean, that would be a dream come true. Or Anita O'Day, or Peggy Lee, or Doris Day. I mean, there's so many artists who unfortunately are not here anymore on this earth, but in spirit, I suppose. But I would love to work with them. And if not, alive, who would I want to work with? I think I would love to work with, maybe you should Google her too, Gretchen Palazzo.
All right, I'll take the names and...
Or Esperanza Spalding, I wouldn't say no to her either.
All right.
I mean, if Mariah Carey called me and said, I need it.
If Beyonce calls, I wouldn't say no. I mean...
Actually, I wouldn't say no if Kanye West... yeah.
No, I don't think you would want to work with Kanye right now.
No, maybe not. Scratch that one off the book.
If you think you are, it's hard to be, known right now. If you work with Kanye, nobody will want to know you.
No. Scratch that off the list.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But if you want, I mean, I'm on Spotify. I don't know.
Yes, please give your information, your Instagram, or if you have a YouTube channel and your Spotify.
I have a YouTube channel, Anna Pauline, ANNAPAULINE, Anna Pauline Music on YouTube. And you can also Google Anna and Richard, because we have a lot of YouTube videos of songs from our upcoming album, or you can look me up on Spotify as well, Anna Pauline.
All right. What about your Instagram? Do you post a lot about your gigs?
I do. Sisters of Jazz has an Instagram page also,
which is
Sisters of Jazz.
Sisters of Jazz.
Yeah.
All right.
And myself, I think I'm Anna Paulinea. Yeah, with an A. Yeah, because it's Anna Pauline Andersson, right? So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I post a lot of stuff about gigs there too.
All right. Well, this has been so nice talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
Mean, we've always talked a lot outside this, but this feels a little bit different, but actually it feels much more great.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah. I hope we
don't
talk
have a
more.
problem talking.
No, we don't. But apparently, because of the time and everything.
Yeah.
We'll have to say, actually, thank you so much for coming. This means so much to me. And
thank you for asking. It was great.
No worries. It was always coming, by the way.
Yeah.
It makes me happy that your journey is actually picking up in a good pace right now, and it's going well. And
thank you.
Hopefully soon I'll be in one of your tour concerts if I'm close enough. And
you can be the acrobat.
Or the
warm-up dancer.
Or the warm-up
act. Yeah, you could be the warm-up act.
That's what I want to talk to you about after the podcast. Yeah. And thank you so much, Anna.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yes. And goodbye, everyone. Have a nice day.